welcome back to the KingCast, presented by the King Economics Division of the Social Sciences Department. I'm your host, Frank Roche. With me, as always, this season, Jack Zipper. Jack, Griffin Joo. Griff, hello, welcome back to the program, guys. We took last week off because of homecoming. This week, we have some interesting topics. Griffin checks in on the horrible, destructive hurricane that hit the western part of Mexico. We have Jack covering a blowout print for gross domestic product for the third quarter. Holy cow. I'm going to check in on the Federal Reserve's monetary policy meeting this week and see what they plan to do with interest rates. We'll check in with King things, what's going on in the King community, King sports, King lunches. And then, as always, we'll check in on economic data for the week and how markets responded. Griff, devastating hurricane hit Mexico off the Pacific coast, Acapulco. Tell us what's going on there and what was the damage done?
Yeah, so thanks, Mr. Roche. Hurricane Otis, it was a powerful Category 5 hurricane that made landfall on the Pacific coast of Mexico on October 25th. It was the strongest hurricane on record to hit Mexico's Pacific coast and the fastest strengthening storm on record in the Northeast Pacific. Otis formed on October 22nd as a tropical storm in the southern Pacific Ocean. It quickly intensified, reaching hurricane status on October 23rd. Over the next 24 hours, Otis underwent explosive intensification, reaching peak winds of 165 miles per hour. Otis made landfall near the beach resort town of Acapulco on October 25th. The storm's powerful winds and storm surge caused widespread damage, destroying many buildings and killing at least 27 people. The cost of devastation left by the Category 5 storm was estimated at billions of dollars, and over 8,000 armed forces members were sent to help the stricken port recover. With thousands now struggling for food, water, and energy, Acapulco is now being ravaged by looting. People are going into torn-down stores, taking items such as toilet paper and water. This hurricane was truly devastating to the area, and hopefully they will receive aid from their government soon.
Yeah, the pictures from the aftermath are quite shocking. I've lived in a bunch of high-rise towers. Those luxury towers and hotels on the coastline really got smashed. Griff, you said that you hope Mexican citizens would receive aid soon. Does that mean they are not currently receiving any aid?
Speaking at his press conference, President Obrador pledged that the Mexican government would help more than 900,000 people in Guerrero, one of Mexico's poorest cities. However, many citizens are still saying that's not enough, because stores are closed and almost all ATMs are non-operational, leaving many citizens without any cash.
That's rough to be sure. You can be sure America's helping out wherever we can. I have no doubt. It's going to take a while to rebuild from that, and the economic hit is going to be quite severe for that resort area that got smashed as well. So hopefully the best for them down there in Mexico. All right, Griff, thank you for the great coverage as always. Jack, you saw what I saw this week. A surprising data point hit the tape. Gross domestic product for the third quarter above expectations, the hottest number we've seen in some time, 4.9% on an annualized basis. Jack, tell us about the GDP print and what was the details?
So gross domestic product grew at a 4.9% annualized rate from July through September, the Commerce Department reported Thursday. A far cry from the recession that was promised, the growth shows the continued tremendous flow of wealth back into the economy after being stored up for all of those pandemic years. People are still taking many vacations, and service industries like hotels and restaurants continue to hold strong due to robust spending by higher income earners, even as many other sectors that benefited from the COVID-19 pandemic return to more normal levels. The massive influx in wealth into the economy is helping maintain strong employment numbers, which is why Thursday's initial unemployment claims still remain low.
Jack, I'm glad you referenced that high income earner thing. We seem to be a bifurcating economy. The upper middle class and wealthy doing very well. The shrinking middle class and the lower incomes not so well. But a surprising number anyway. Jack, the Fed's been raising rates now for over a year and a half. We have inflationary problems. Fiscal policy is pumping money into the system to the tune of trillions of dollars. Are there any signs of slowing?
Well, unfortunately, there are. Just beneath the surface, America's spending is beginning to dry out, with disposable personal income decreasing in the quarter. In addition, Bloomberg reports that big purchases are beginning to slump, with sales of expensive goods such as appliances, orthodontics, and boats decreasing according to their manufacturers.
And we can also see a massive slowdown in the trucking industry. A surprising data point here in the BEA, the Bureau of Economic Analysis, had just revised lower every GDP print for the last 5 years. And then we get this whopper to the upside. Very surprising. I think there's something fugazi in this data. This doesn't make a lot of sense. Claims are still pegged low. We're going to see eventually. I've been calling for recession for some time. It's proven to be wrong soon here. My prediction is going to be over here in another few months. Good news for us in the economy, but something's not quite right there. We'll see how it develops over time. All right, Jack, thank you as always. On that note, Jack, with that hot GDP number, I want to talk about the FOMC meeting coming up this week, the Federal Open Market Committee, the group within the Federal Reserve that sets interest rate policy 8 times a year. They have a meeting starting Tuesday. It ends Wednesday. And we'll know the details at 2 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon. The current range of the federal funds rate is for the overnight rate. That's the rate banks use to manage their daily reserves between each other. Is 5.25 to 5.5%. Now, I don't think the Fed is done. I'm calling for one more rate hike, 25 basis rate hike, and then they're going to be on hold for an extended period. And it'll be this idea of rates being higher for longer is the phrase currently being used. Lots of economists are speculating the Fed is done and the next rate is going to be a drop. I'm not so sure about that. There's a lot of risk factors out there, of course. As Jack told us, Q3 GDP came out much higher than expected at 4.9%, above full employment output of about 3.5%. Unemployment remains below the natural rate of unemployment, which is about 4.5%, and U3 is currently about 3.8%. And most importantly, inflation at the producer and consumer levels is still above the Fed's target of 2% on an annual basis. So there's plenty of reasons, and there's plenty of room for the Fed to hike rates again, 25 basis points, and I think they should. In a survey, though, for the November meeting coming up this week, more than 80% of economists, 90 of 111, in an October 13th through 18 poll predicted the FOMC will hold rates unchanged at the end of this meeting. And I agree. If they don't go in November, they're going to go in December is my call. This is in line with market expectations, and if realized, would be the first time in the current cycle that the Fed has opted to pause for a second straight consecutive meeting. 26 of 111 saw one more rate hike this year. I'm in that camp, and that matches the Fed predictions from last month. One reason for many economists are backing off more rate hikes is due to the bond market participants doing the Fed's work for them. Interest rates on the long end of the yield curve have risen sharply over the past few weeks. The 10-year Treasury bond was yielding 3.38% in April. Last week, the rate rose to 5%. The 30-year Treasury, it's the same thing in April, 3.55%, and it closed last week, at 5.01%. So the yield curve is flattening. The long end rises, that yield curve is flattening, although the short end remains elevated. 1 month through 1 year remains very high. Rates remain high with expectations of another rate hike. The range from 1 month to 1 year is 4.4 to 4.5%. So we still have a little bit of an inverted yield curve, but it's flattening, and that's a good sign for the economy.
Mr. Roche, what risk factors are there to the outlook for monetary policy?
Thanks, Griff. There are a bunch of risk factors out there that can quickly change the outlook for monetary policy. We've all seen in the recent past how quickly the Fed can lower rates. Most notable risks are the regional spread of war in the Middle East, of course, think oil and inflation, banking problems stemming from the commercial real estate weakness that's developing, and rising defaults in the subprime lending space, think autos as a starting point. So those are some of our risk factors going forward for Fed monetary policy. All right, guys, let's move on to something a little bit more fun for us, and that's King things. Griff, as always, you track what's happening in our community. What's going on at King these days?
Yeah, so as most of us know, this past week was homecoming, so we didn't get to film, but I'll kind of recap on some stuff. So despite some rainfall, that didn't stop us, of course, from having a great time showing our school spirit. And also last Sunday, the 11th annual King Cares 5K was held for the Orphan Starfish Foundation and the Boys and Girls Club of Stamford. I was fortunate enough to be there to help out, and it was a great time to show support for these organizations. Looking ahead to this week, because it's Halloween, it looks like the entire school has fun plans lined up. In the upper school, we have a pink out on Monday to show support for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Tuesday is Halloween, so everyone is encouraged to dress up appropriately. In the middle school, students are also dressing up on Tuesday, and a group of students will be taking on the faculty in a students versus teachers volleyball game on Friday. and the lower school students are having their annual Halloween parade in the lower school courtyard. Overall, it looks like it is going to be a great week at King.
All right, gentlemen, are we dressing up tomorrow? You're going to be dressed up for Halloween? Jack?
Still figuring it out. I think I've
Figuring it
got
out?
a theme, maybe going with a friend. We'll
Okay.
see if it comes to light or fruition.
Anything for you, Griff? You want to reveal any inside info?
I think it's going to be a game time decision. I'm not
Okay,
really sure
okay.
yet, but I think I'll
I will
figure
not be
something
dressing
out.
up. I'm far too old to dress up for Halloween, but I do like our door decorating competition that's ongoing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw what they did with their door the past couple of days at school, but really impressive. All right, that's King things. Jack, what's happening in the sports world at King?
Well, it's quite the homecoming weekend with King teams showing up strong for the home crowds after conceding the first set to Rye Country Day School. King's volleyball team came roaring back to dominate the game and take a comfortable 3-1 win to move to 9-1. Field hockey also moved to 9-1 after a tight game and was able to scrape out a 2-1 win in overtime against Holy Child. Girls soccer was able to deal with Columbia Prep 3-1, and boys soccer got their revenge on Worcester and beat them 1-0. And to cap the day, boys football played valiantly, coming back from an 18-point deficit late in the third quarter in order to take the lead before just falling short in a heartbreaking fashion to Horace Mann 38-34. Charlie Hill, Freddie Melton, and company hope to learn from their mistakes and emulate this offensive productivity for their playoff game against Hopkins. The volleyball team also takes on Hopkins at home, while varsity girls soccer takes on GCDS at home as well. In addition, Jack Zipper and the King crew team go to Philadelphia for the head of the Schuylkill. We hope to see you come out to support our Vikings, except for the crew team, because let's be honest, Philly is quite the long trip.
That's quite an ask, Jack, to go on 95 on a weekend, both ways. That's a big ask. And I hope you get calm waters and it goes well for the team, of course. Great reviews for us on the King community. And now we have our new segment we're doing this year, the lunch reviews. So guys, we're gonna do a little scale, okay? We need to come up with a name for our scale, but for now, we'll just call it 1 to 5. We'll go through last week's lunches and we'll see a preview of coming up this week. So Monday last week, we had the ravioli cheese with a tomato herb sauce in a cream tomato soup. By the way, I love our soups. I forgot to mention last week. Were you thumbs up on the soups? Yes, not a soup guy,
definitely.
Jack? Yeah, I love the soup.
I'm not a soup guy.
You're not a soup guy, okay. I love the chicken noodle soup, fantastic. All right, I don't eat cheese, so I went with pasta and a salad on Monday. What did you guys rate the cheese ravioli?
I actually didn't have it because I was never a big tomato sauce guy, so
Okay.
I went for a nice chicken panini.
Okay, what'd you do, Jack?
And unfortunately, I also didn't have it. I
Okay.
went to the panini line as well.
Well, let's not forget, apart from our hot plates and entrees, we have a fantastic salad bar. We have always 2 great soups. We have the pasta station every day. And then, of course, we have the sandwich deli station. So we have lots of options for us. All right, so we don't have much to offer with cheese ravioli. I saw people eating it, so it must have been wonderful. And let's not forget to thank our great crew that works for Flick that feeds us each day. Tuesday, we had a half day. You all did not get to eat, and you missed out. Ribs and wings on Tuesday for the faculty. It was fantastic. Beautiful wings, great ribs, beautiful sauce on the ribs. So we got a little spoiled on Tuesday on our half day work. Wednesday,
Well, actually, I got to eat the ribs and wings. I had to stay late.
oh
So I
really?
got to eat them. Yeah,
So
and I'll
are you
rate it
from-
a 4 out of 5.
Okay, good. I forgot my rating. I'll go 4 out of 5 as well. All right. So Wednesday, the Italian sausage hero with chicken noodle soup. This was a bonanza day for me. 5 out of 5. I love the Italian sausage. I go with the pasta instead of the bread. I had a nice salad. Love the soup. I'm giving it 5 out of 5. What do you guys think? Did you try it?
I really love the breadsticks.
Okay.
That's always a plus. I would give this a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It must have been what I ate because the sausage was not very cooked. So I'm gonna go 2 out of 5 for this one. Wasn't the worst, but
Okay.
definitely a little bit of improvement there.
You got some bad pieces, obviously. Okay, it's hit or miss sometimes. Thursday, we had the quesadillas. We had the chicken quesadilla and the 3 cheese quesadilla. Again, I was out because I'm not a cheese person. They had a split pea soup. I'm out because I don't eat green food. That's a soup. So I went with what did I do Thursday? I think I went a pasta and salad again, which is always good. I love the marinara sauce, had a nice salad with a beautiful dressing. So my lunch was a 3 out of 5 on Thursday.
So I actually did have both quesadillas and I thought they were very good. I really like sour cream.
Okay.
So quesadillas and sour cream is always great. So I would actually say this was my best meal of the week. So I would give this a 5 out of 5.
Nice. Jack?
I agree with Griffin. This was definitely my best. I had 2 chicken quesadillas. Those were incredible. I'm going to go 5 out of 5 as well.
Oh, the chef's going to love to hear that. Friday, we had baked potato with turkey chili and a kale white bean soup. I backed out of lunch on Friday because I wanted pizza badly. And so we had my blue class, International Economics, we had pizza in class just before lunch. We got pizza from the Bronx house. So I can't rate this again. I did come in later. I went in for a second shot with some beautiful grilled chicken over a little bit of pasta. That was great. 4 out of 5 for me. Easy little meal. Griff, how'd you like the baked potato turkey chili?
I actually went for a panini again this
Again
time.
with the panini, okay. And how are we rating these paninis, Griff? You make them yourself, right?
Yeah, I would say like compared to last year, I was more of kind of an amateur, but I feel like now this year I've definitely gotten a lot better at making them. So
You want to put a number on your panini?
I would say a 4 out of 5. It's pretty
Zach,
solid.
what'd you do for lunch Friday?
So I did have the baked potato and turkey chili. I would say this is a very consistent meal, but I would say it's a 3 out of 5 for me. It's not exploding in my mouth.
Understood. Listen, I'm a baked potato guy. Salad as a meal, it's nice and simple. It's not really that exciting. There's no question. But they do have the bacon, and anything you put bacon on always becomes better. All right, this week we have Monday, we have pizza. I just had pizza on Friday, buffalo chicken and cheese and a vegan minestrone soup. Tuesday, we have burgers with a creamy potato leek soup. I love burger day. Wednesday, the 5-spice roast pork, split pea soup. Thursday, baked macaroni and cheese, New England clam chowder, and Friday, baked potato again with pasta fagioli. I think that's how you say it. Pasta fagioli. What's sticking out for me this week? I like the pizza. I'm a hamburger guy and a pork guy. The rest of the week, I might do one of my hacks with a BLT, and I'll probably add some pasta and salad in there somewhere. Anything stick out for you all?
Definitely not the pizza.
Pizza.
That is a hard skip for me.
Okay. What do you see, Jackie? You got anything that you look forward to?
Oh, it's always got to be hamburger day. Great day.
Burgers are great. I hope they have the steak fries for us. Griff, how about you?
Yeah, I would say hamburger day. And I feel like despite popular opinion, I've always been a macaroni and cheese fan at King.
Good.
I feel like some people don't like it, but that's always one of my favorites.
I'll tell you what, macaroni and cheese day, the line is very long. So I think you got some good friends there, Griff. All right, that's enough of the fun stuff. Let's get back to the real world stuff, economic data and financial markets. Remember, track the data. Whenever in doubt, always go to the data. If you want to know how the economy is performing, stick with us. We have the KingCast. We have the weekly market report. There's more data than what we present that comes out each week, but this is the 30 or 35 data points that move markets regularly, and that's why we focus on them. Griff, tell us about the data for the week ending October 27th.
Yeah, so Friday, there was no data. But on Thursday, we had initial unemployment insurance claims for October 27th. It was 210,000 versus 209 in the prior week. September durable goods orders were up 4.7% versus down 0.1% in October. And like Jack said, the Q3 preliminary GDP was up 4.9% versus up 2.1% in Q2. September goods trade balance was minus 85.8 billion, versus 84.6 billion in October. In September, pending home sales were up 1.1% versus down 7.1% in October.
Okay, so Thursday was a big day. That's a lot of good data. That causes anyone thinking recession to think twice. It's unusual, came out of nowhere. We'll have to see how we develop in the next couple months. Continue, Griff.
Yeah, so then on Wednesday, we had the MBA mortgage applications down 1% versus down 6.9% in the prior week. In September, new home sales was 759,000 on an annualized basis versus 676 in October, up 12.3%. And Tuesday and Monday, we had no data.
I mean, a great housing data this week as well. Fiscal policy injections ran a $2 trillion budget deficit in 2023. And so we pumped lots of money into the economy, and it's showing up here in the data. But unfortunately, inflation is still with us. Jack, how about this week? What's going on with data for this week, please?
Yeah, so we got a big week up, but starting it with no data on Monday. But on Tuesday, we got the Q3 Employment Cost Index, the October Purchasing Managers Index, always want to look out for that one, and the October Consumer Confidence, very good to gauge the recession. On Wednesday, we have MBA mortgage applications for the week ending October 30th, the October ADP Employment Report, September Construction Spending, October ISM Manufacturing Index, and the Federal Reserve interest rate decision. On Thursday, we have initial unemployment claims week ending October 30th, the Q3 non-farm productivity, September factory orders, and on Friday, we have October non-farm payrolls, October unemployment rate, U3 and U6, October average hourly earnings, October average weekly hours, and October ISM non-manufacturing index.
Hey, do one of you guys remember what we call this report that gives us all this data?
The Employment Situation
The
Report.
employment situation report. Good job. All right, important to track the data as we always do. Let's check markets. Griff, what happened in stocks, please?
Okay, so the S&P 500 opened the week at 4,197, had a high of 4,257, a low of 4,113, and closed at 4,113, down 84 points for the week, or 0.3%.
Jack, bonds?
The 10-year U.S. Treasury bond opened the week at 4.98%, had a high of 5.01%, a low of 4.8%, and a close at 4.8%, unchanged on the week.
Testing that 5% level. Griff, foreign exchange?
Yeah, the US dollar index opened the week at 106.15. It had a high of 106.87, a low of 105.52, and a close of 106.55, up 40 pips for the week.
High rate, strong dollar. Remember, safe haven status as well. Things are troubled in the world. Jack, what about commodities?
So the Dow Jones Commodities Index opened the week at 1,009.34, had a high of 1,012, a low of 994.28, and a close of 1,000.34, unchanged on the week.
Okay, good. And this is really driven by oil and gold right now. Gold, safe haven, oil, of course, tensions in the Middle East. So my call is sell rallies in stock, sell rallies in bonds, buy dips in commodities, and buy dips in the dollar. That's your recommendation from Frankie, although I'm not responsible for your trading activities. All right, let's finish up the program with our friendly reminder. Start us off, Jack.
Do your reading, do your homework, and come to class prepared.
Use your blinker when making turns or switching lanes. Stop signs mean stop, and no texting while driving.
And always try to buy American. Jack, take us out of here.
That is it for us. Join us again next week and tell your friends and family to listen to the KingCast at kingschoolct.org, academics, upper school, clubs, and activities.
Well done, gentlemen. KingCast is in the books. Thank you again. We'll see you next week. Tell your friends and family. Check us out. All right, guys, we're done.